this out of respect to our Hall of Fame colleague here. And Michael, you know how things you know how things pivot. Things tend to change when you change the venue and you see a different energy and a different style of play. What was most notable to you tonight that was different, Michael?
Energy. I mean, for one, the Bucks sort of just wandered in. They didn't know what they were going to get from Giannis when we were in Phoenix when this series started. But you could feel everything going on here, Scott. I'm sure you could sense it all the way back in Washington, about 800 miles. But the thing that is so noticeable about the Milwaukee Bucks is when they play with force, when they realize they're the bigger, stronger team. I don't care who the opposition has been in these playoffs. The Bucks look like a real championship level team. But you don't know the next game when they come out and they float and they shoot threes and they forget who they are, or they just go away from who they are. We don't know what we're going to get from time to time, but they played with all of that force and energy tonight in Game 3.
Stephen A., when we spoke last after Game 2, you were emphatic about Coach Bud's got to make some adjustments, and you wanted to see some help from Middleton and Holiday. I feel like we know what we got from Middleton and Holiday on top of the 40-plus from Giannis once again. What do you think about how the Bucks answered in terms of making adjustments?
Well, I'm going to take a moment to give Budenholzer a lot of credit because they attacked on the interior. They recognized they were the bigger the physical team, and they attacked. Most of that run in the second quarter came with DeAndre Ayton on the bench because he picked up his third foul. From that point forward, you saw numerous plays where Devin Booker was on Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak. There's no possible way he can be expected to guard the Greek Freak. And then when you take that into consideration and you start getting to the hole and you hit 14 to 23 shots and you shoot 13 to 17 from the free throw line, you all of a sudden, oh my goodness, this epiphany hits you. Guess what? If we attack the rim, if we don't make the layup, Mike Wilbon, we might get fouled and we might get to the free throw line. And oh my goodness, we might actually make more than we miss. This is the Milwaukee Bucks team that was considered a title contender. They played like it tonight. They've got size. They've got physicality. They big boyed the Phoenix Suns. They bullied them. They forced the Phoenix Suns to actually try to engage in playing a zone with Crowder in the middle because you couldn't rely on Frank Kaminsky coming on the court to give you anything when it really, really counted. So they had to go small and go to a zone. That was their only prayer. So now what they see is, hey, guess what? They're the bigger, more physical team, and Devin Booker is going to have to play better. He's the key, Scott Van Pelt. He shot 3 of 14. He was absolutely awful. This was clearly his worst offensive performance of the postseason. He's got to make up for that because when he's balling, along with CP3, they could potentially overcome. But that's the only way they could do it because they just don't have the horses, particularly with Dario Saric out, just like Tim Legler pointed out before we came on.
Yeah, the depth issue is something we alluded to the other night. You wonder, is fatigue going to be a factor? But I want to follow Stephen A. on what you just mentioned. You know, Michael, the saying in the NFL that defense travels, right? That's one thing you can count on. You know, it's not a variable. You're going to have nights where you make some threes. You're going to have nights where you don't miss threes. But I just wonder, Michael, just from a mentality, you look at this game if you're the Bucks and say, we're going to bully them, to use Stephen A's word again. Like, that's something you could lean into moving forward to try to win 3 more games. That has to be their approach, doesn't it?
Scott, it has to be, except it hasn't been. Every other game, we're asking the same things about the Milwaukee Bucks. Every series, the Bucks have done this where they storm the paint. They're the bigger, stronger, more athletic team. And in the next game, they just wander out and shoot threes, and Giannis is not in the paint. Look, the two things. One, are they going to play to that form again on Wednesday night in Game 4? That's question one. Question two, are they going to get everybody in that ensemble? I kept telling Stephen A. before the game. Everybody has to play. I don't want to hear about an X factor. I don't want to hear about which person's going to form a tag team with Giannis. They all got to play. Middleton has to play. Drew Holiday has to play. You have to get something from Bobby Portis. Remember, Coach Bud, for 3 consecutive games against Brooklyn, 5, 6, and 7, didn't even play Portis. And that's why I've said all postseason, I don't trust them because I don't know what they're going to give me back-to-back games. You would think now, Scott, in the finals, that they got 2 days to reinforce to each other, the coaching staff, the players, and everybody around the Bucks. Hey, fellas, This is what we do, and we can be a championship team. But you know what? If they do that, it'll be the first time.
That's right.
Because they go away from it time after time after time.
Listen, that's why I came on the air the other night, Scott, and I said that I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it was a clueless performance by them. Kendrick Perkins was far more harsher than me, and obviously Michael Wilbon was a bit more diplomatic than the both of us, but all three of our points were consistent and were to the point. This team, we know what the ingredients to their success is in Milwaukee. They know it too, but somehow inexplicably from game to game they're like a roller coaster. They are devoid of consistency, which means that Phoenix always has a chance, because with Phoenix it's injuries that have gotten in the way. It's compromised their depth. That's what's gotten in the way. But in terms of how they play, sharing the basketball, moving without the basketball, they know who they are. They know what works for them. And when it works, they keep on doing it. Tonight, Devin Booker just didn't have it. But if he has it, and Chris Paul has it, and Cameron Johnson comes off the bench, who I believe should be utilized more, and DeAndre Ayton can stay out of foul trouble, it's going to come down, who's the more consistent team? Who can you trust to hold on to their identity? Tonight, the Bucks showed up. But that wasn't the case in games 1 and 2. We'll see if they show up and do the same thing in game 4.
Please tell me, Stephen A., that somewhere you're going to get some rest. I appreciate you being with me the other night. Then I see you in Vegas doing your thing. Now I see you here. Just please tell me you're going to get some rest. Well, you earn every dollar. You're a star. Get some rest.
I appreciate it, but winners do what it takes. When the job is finished, that's when I'll get rest.
He got his energy from that white jacket in Vegas last night, Scott. Did you notice that?
I saw the chains.
Hey, fellas. Yeah, was it not smooth? Was it not smooth?
It was.
That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
Clean, very clean always.
He keeps going like this.
Get some rest. Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon. We'll see you for First Take in the morning and talk to you after Game 4. Appreciate you, gentlemen. All right. We get to Coach Bud, who was called out the other night for his failure to make some adjustments. In this one, you trust Giannis, you leaned into him, and here's what Coach Budenholzer had to say about his two-time MVP.
You know, he's just doing whatever it takes to help his team, to help us. You know, he's in an aggressive mindset. He always...
Finals games, Bucks are on the board. Tim Legler joins us, and you see the scene over our shoulder there. Been waiting a long while for a finals appearance there in Milwaukee, and they're enjoying defending home floor tonight. We talk so much about adjustments and what has to happen. What happened in this one that allowed the Bucks to play and not just win, but win in pretty dominant fashion?
A lot of things went right. And if you think about it, coming out of Game 2, one of the things we were focused on, Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton offensively, where were they? Chris Middleton got off in the first half. It was critical that he do that. Giannis, had another great game, put up big numbers, had a good first half. But to see his co-star alongside of him rolling and in rhythm gave the Bucks a tremendous boost. Bobby Portis was great off the bench. I always talk about where's this supplemental, unexpected offense going to come from. You don't know on a given night, but somebody usually gives it to you in a playoff win. Right. Bobby Portis was huge in the first half. Then you go now to the second half. DeAndre Ayton picks up his 4th foul early in the third quarter. Suns go small. That depleted front line with no Saric, it really tonight came to the fore because they have nowhere else to go. They went zone. They're playing 5 guards basically most of that quarter. And for a while they hung in there because the Bucks were adjusting to guarding 5 guards. And the Suns were scoring. Eventually, though, it was just a consistent offensive rebounding barrage and then 3-point shooting. Suns trying to protect the lane, packed in a little bit. Jrue Holiday gets going. So all of those things happened for the Bucks tonight. Middleton played well. Holiday played well. The lineup change dramatically affected this game in the second half with that small lineup by the Suns. There's just no way you can keep up with a team that's got Giannis Antetokounmpo on it with 5 guards.
Look, you make 23s in a game as the Suns did in Game 2, and you had more than a 30-point advantage from 3, you're going to win the game. Well, now you flip the script entirely. I'm just doing the math on this, and my math's a little bit spotty here, but I can figure out that the Bucks had an advantage here. And that's going to pivot from game to game. But you're not going to have a replacement for Saric and Ayton if he's in foul trouble. There's zero answer for Giannis. So if you're the Bucks, what are you taking from this game that you think, you know what? However long this series goes, we've got some things we can lean into.
Yeah, I think they're going to go and they're going to look at this tape and they're going to see that with the pace that they played with put so much pressure on Phoenix initially. You could almost see this coming. I mean, I don't know about you, but I certainly felt this was kind of how this game was going to go. Bucks are too good a team to just get rolled by the Phoenix Suns. It's not going to happen. They're too good in that building and they're too physical. That's what they are going to take out of this tape. We can beat this team up if we commit to playing with that kind of force in the paint. They really don't have a lot of answers for us. Now, they had some issues guarding pick and roll in Phoenix. They were much more competitive tonight on every screen, contesting shots, getting back, running in transition, all of that. They were desperate tonight defensively, so that contributed to the Suns' poor three-point shooting night. But on the other end of the floor, they're seeing that they have no answer for our physicality, whether that's Giannis, whether that's Bobby Portis, whether that's P.J. Tucker and the way he plays on the offensive glass in the lane. Chris Middleton was mixing it up. Jrue Holiday. That's, to me, what they're looking at the Phoenix Suns and saying they can't match up with us from a physical standpoint as long as we are committed defensively and not letting them put up these 115, 120-point nights. We're going to get ours, and that's what they come out of this with. They're back in the series very confident now.
Yeah, this felt like a February game against whoever, where the Bucks have triple figures in the third, and they're going to get whatever they want. And that's essentially what they did in this game. More coming from you a little bit later.
Got it.
Tim Legler will get some breakdowns from Tim. Three things from this.